Hi everyone, my name is Austin. I work at the White Plains Library, and today we're looking at this device. Very cool device. It's called an Acer Enduro T1 laptop. It's more than just a laptop. It can be used like a laptop, but it can also be used like a tablet. It's water resistant and has all sorts of different features, which I'm going to be talking about in this video. First thing I'm going to do is show you how to open it up. So what you're going to do is take the device. There's a little flap here. You're going to unfold the flap, the first flap, and then take the flap that's right under that and open that up. You see you got a nice little device here. I'm going to lay it down here so you can see. If you don't prop it up, it's just going to lay down flat like that, and that's no good if you want a laptop experience. So what you want to do is go ahead and fold the back flap there into itself, make a sort of triangle, and lean the screen against it, and you have a little stand. So it's a nice little case here. And okay, so to power it on, you're going to push the power button, which is right here. Now, before you do that, it's a good idea to have the power supply connected. So this is our charger. You have a standard plug here, and the other end is a USB-C to charge it. And so what I'm going to do is go ahead and plug that in, and we'll get it booted up. And I should mention that on the side here, there is a flap that you have to open up, another flap. So what I'm going to do is use my finger and pull that open, and then plug in our charger. Okay, and when you do that, you should notice that unless it's fully charged, there is a orange indicator light, and that's your battery status indicator. So it's charging right now and ready to be turned on. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and do that. Push the power button here, the top left, and I just hold it for a couple seconds and then let go. And that should start booting up, and we'll speed up through this. Okay, and it should auto log in. There's no password or anything you need to put in. And this is it. This is our standard desktop, standard Windows 10 machine. It's a touch screen, so you can touch the screen, if you will. And let's start off by just looking at the buttons that are on the front. You'll notice there's 6 physical buttons on the front of the screen. I already covered the top left button. That's your power button. It's also your sleep button. So if you want to put this thing to sleep, just push the button and it'll go to sleep. So if you're going to temporarily close it, it's a good idea to hit that sleep button. And then to wake it up, you just, the same way you turn it on, you hold it for a couple seconds and it'll come out of sleep mode. And once it does that, you might have to either click on the touchpad or use your finger and just click sign in, and that'll bring you back. The other buttons are on the left here. You have volume up and volume down. So standard, you should see a little indicator when you click on the up and down button to show you the volume change. And the top right is the Windows Start button, so you push that and it'll open up the Start menu. One of the coolest things about this device is that you can actually pull it off of the dock here and essentially use it as a tablet. So to do that, as long as it's got enough charge, and by the way, to see how much charge it has, you just go down to the battery right here, the little battery icon. You can see it has a visual indication of how much charge it has, but you can also click on it and it'll tell you. By the way, when it comes to the battery, if you ever see it red, good idea to plug it into a charger or turn it off. I have 99%, so I feel comfortable unplugging it, and I'll go right into tablet mode. So I no longer am on the outlet charge. I'm no longer connected to the outlet. And so I can pull this right off. And so it's really just a magnet holding it on. And so I would hold your hand at the bottom here and take the top part and just pull up, and that will disconnect it. And you can see here there's two different connectors on each side, and in the center, that's your actual keyboard connector. So these two are just kind of to hold it in place, and then this is your real keyboard connection. So to put it back on, you just, same way you took it off, you just plug it back in place. But I want it off for right now because I want to show you the different buttons. And by the way, you'll notice that there is an option to switch to tablet mode, and you can do that. I personally prefer to just leave it in desktop mode because it is a touchscreen. But just to show you what that looks like, I'm going to click yes, and then it will act more like a tablet, so it has certain features that are better for a standard tablet setup. And so you see you get different icons, and up at the top left here I can click the icon there, and it will I can go through the different apps that's on this, which I'm going to get to. But for right now, I want it in regular desktop mode, and the easiest way to get back into desktop mode is to just plug it back on, and then it asks you if you want to leave desktop mode, and I'll click yes. All right. So what I want to do now is show you the ports and connections on the side of this device. So you notice on each side there is a little place where you can grab and pull up, and that'll open up the connectors on the side. So this is the same flap you had to pull up for the charger, which is actually this one right here. So you have a charger, you have a USB 3 port, and this is the video connection. The connection type is a micro HDMI, so you'll need a micro HDMI cord if you want to connect to another display. All right, so that's on this side. I'll close that up because I'm not using it. And then I'm going to flip over to this side, and same thing, there's a little piece that you can grab with your finger. And what do we have? Another USB port. Don't think that one is USB 3 because it's not blue. And then there's a micro SD card slot, and then a headphone jack. So there is the USB port on the side here. There's the USB port here, and you can just push your port in, your USB inside. Okay, and after you plug in the USB, it should automatically open up the USB to the folder it's on. Okay, and I'm going to safely remove the device by going down here, clicking the up arrow, clicking the little USB symbol, and then I'll say eject the USB device that I have. Okay, so it's safe to remove it, so I'm going to go ahead and just pull it out. All right, and just like the other side, I'm going to close it up because I don't need it at the moment. Oh, by the way, you might have noticed, but if I turn this thing sideways, and it'll automatically go into portrait mode, which is really cool. So depending on how you're sitting and you want to use it like a tablet, you can flip it and it'll auto rotate the screen. So that's neat. And I'm going to go ahead and plug this back in. So just kind of line it up and drop it on there. It's a lot easier to put it back on than take it off. But even taking it off, like I showed you before, is really not hard to do. Next, I'd like to show you how to connect to the internet. And to do that, you see there's a little globe icon down here. If you're not connected at all, it'll look like an empty globe. And what I'm going to do is click on that. In this case, I'm just touching on it. And by the way, there's a touchpad here, which I should have mentioned before. But the touchpad allows you to control the cursor. All right? And I'll go through all the different gestures that you can use with the touchpad, but just know that I could have gone down instead of touching it and used the touchpad and just clicked on it, and then go up. This when you click or touch that icon, it'll show you all of the available connections. And I'm in the library, so I'm going to go to the WPPL public, connection. So I'll go ahead in this case and touch it and then click connect. And that should connect me to the Wi-Fi because I have connected before on this device. So it shouldn't be an issue. It says it's connected. And to test it out, let me click on Firefox here and just make sure it's all good to go. Opens up our website. And there it is. So successful connection. All right, so let's take a look at the keyboard next, because there's all sorts of different symbols that allow you to do different things. And so obviously it's a standard keyboard, but you notice there's the blue symbols at the top here. And those are your different functions that you can use with the FN key, special functions. And so, for example, if you wanted to change the brightness, hold FN and then push the brightness symbol there up and down. And so you can lower and raise the brightness that way. And I promised that I would show you how the touchpad works. So I'll show you the different gestures that you can use with it. Okay, so just to move the cursor, you're obviously just going to move your finger around the touchpad here. And if you want to click on something, you don't even have to fully press the touchpad down, that button. You can hear a little click, but you only have to tap it. And if you tap, that's enough to register a click in this device. All right, and just to show you some other gestures, what I'm going to do is open up this PDF file. It's actually a manual for the device. And I'm going to double tap on it. And that'll open it up. And then if I use 2 fingers, I can actually scroll the document. So 2 fingers is good for scrolling and right-clicking. So I could scroll by dragging my fingers, and I could right-click by tapping them. And if I want to zoom in and out, I can pinch. So it's kind of hard to see. I'll use my 2 fingers. I can pinch to go in and out with my zoom. And also it should work left and right as well. So you can go left, right, up, and down. And again, you don't have to use the touchpad even. If you have a mouse, you can just plug in the mouse in the USB port. And I have a mouse here, fortunately, to show you. So if I want to just use a mouse, what I'll do is open up the flap on the side and plug in my mouse in the port, and should automatically recognize the device. I didn't have it plugged in all the way. Let that be a lesson. Make sure the port is plugged in all the way, and then it should automatically recognize the device and use it. It might take a second to install, but a standard mouse should work with this. If you have a Bluetooth device that you want to connect, maybe you have a Bluetooth mouse that you want to connect, you go down to the Bluetooth section, and I'll use the touchpad to go down to this arrow here, tap it to expand it, and then there's the Bluetooth icon right there, and I can click on that Bluetooth icon and it'll give me some options. So if I wanted to add my Bluetooth device, this is how I would do that. Next, I'd like to talk about input sources on the device. So it has a microphone on it, so you could record sounds with it. You don't need a special microphone to hook in. And it does have 2 cameras. And I do want to point out that there's a front camera and there's a rear camera. So let me pull this right off so you can see. You got the front camera right there, and then the rear camera is on the back here. Okay, and I notice this flap is open, so I'm going to close that. In Zoom, you might have an issue with what camera is turned on when you're using Zoom. And so what I'll do is show you how it works in Zoom. And actually, this is a good time to start looking at the different apps that are on this device. So I'll start out with Zoom. You can see there's an icon for Zoom right on the desktop here. So I'll go ahead and I'll double tap on it. And that'll open it up. Now, I'm already signed in. In your case, it won't be signed in. But I just wanted to show you that once you do sign in, you have the gear option, the gear icon right here. And when you open that up, it'll give you your different settings. And you can go to video, and it'll show you the different cameras that you have available. It should be set to USB camera that's what you want it on. That's your front camera. Unless you want it on the rear camera, and in that case you would go down and select ICT camera. All right, so for this device, it knows the front camera as USB camera and the rear camera as ICT camera. So just make sure it's set to USB camera. All right. And what else? So all the icons here are the main apps that are on the system. So for browsers, we have Vivaldi and Firefox. And what else we got? Notepad++. This is a good text document editor, so you can whip up quick documents. And we have Microsoft Teams, GoToMeeting, and Zoom. So those are the three main video conferencing software applications that we have on the device. So for Teams and GoToMeeting and Zoom, like I showed you, just open them up, and you can join your virtual sessions using those apps. For video files and even audio files, there's VLC Media Player. So by default, any video file you have, if you just open it up, it should by default open with VLC. This is a great program. And fortunately, for word processing, there's also the Microsoft Suite available. So if I click the Start button here, I don't have to necessarily even click the Start button. I could just type in, say if I wanted to use Word, I could just type in Word in the search bar down here, and it will find Word 2013. And I can just click on it and open it that way. All right, I think it's about time to wrap this up. So what I'm going to do is shut the machine down, and what I'll do is go to the Start button, or let's use the actual physical Start button. I'll press the Start button, and then I'll use the touch screen here. I'll press the little power icon and then click Shut Down, and that will start the shutdown process. And then to close it up, I'm just going to do the reverse of what I did to open it up, which is fold this down and then unfold the triangle that we made, and then flip that top flap over. And you have your nice portable device that is now shut off. So, I want to thank you for watching today. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you enjoy the device if you do have one from the library. And most importantly, I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.